What's up, everybody? It's the Big K Experience and the Spilt Milk Show with the B. And today's episode is brought to you by Kingman Chevrolet. It's about the journey. It's all about the journey from point A to point B. The 2020 Equinox small SUV is ready for your next adventure. There's technology to keep you entertained, available safety features that help keep you on track, and performance that makes driving fun. Because why shouldn't every trip be an excuse to treat yourself? And right now at Kingman Chevrolet, get 0% APR for 72 months for well-qualified buyers and $500 cash allowance when you finance through GM Financial. Kingman Chevrolet on Stockton Hill in Kingman.
Good morning, everybody. It's the Big K Experience and the Spilt Milk Show with the B. And today we're going to be talking about cussing. Why? Because I'm comfortable. That's why. The distraction addiction. Spring in your step is a real thing. And who should be the head of the household, all coming up. So I have these meetings I go to, right? And in these meetings, they tell you like how to better yourself or a new way of life, stuff like that. You know, like just stuff to learn about yourself and learn about the people around you. Well, now the class has changed where you can't cuss in the class. I know you're thinking, duh. You're in a public situation, you shouldn't be cursing a lot. But this is a very open meeting. You know what I mean? It's a very in-depth class. So whenever I feel comfortable, I curse. And that's why I don't curse while I'm doing my show, not because I don't feel super comfortable, but because I'm trying to stay on top of my game and get the information out to you guys, and my ideas and how I feel about things and actual facts as well. So that being the case, when I cuss, it's usually because I'm very comfortable and I'm not really worried about what I'm going to say and how I'm going to say it. So when I'm in these situations and they tell you not to cuss, and they're like, well, we're trying to teach you how to act in social situations. Well, I don't need to be taught how to act in social situations. I know how to act in social situations. But all right, so I understand the premise of it, and I sound kind of like a child where I say, but it's not a job interview, and it's not a place where I'm trying to entertain people or educate people. I'm trying to learn more about myself and the people around me in that group. So if that's the case, then you cutting out the way and my verbiage is not the greatest thing in the world. I'm kind of upset over it because you're basically limiting my speech. I was watching, I can never remember his name. I always have to think of Winnie the Pooh, because if I think of Winnie the Pooh, I'll remember his name, because the kid's name on there, and now I can't remember that either. So, anywho, he's a motivational speaker, and he cusses a lot. I was watching one of his movies about one of his getaways or whatever. And he says the F word a lot. And he says he uses it to punctuate. Now, I thought I was a terrible person because I use the F word. And I was talking to somebody yesterday about you sound ignorant when you curse. Yes, depending on what you're speaking about. Curse words are just words, right? And they're inflection on whatever statement that you're making. So if you use the F word for almost every adjective without actually adding any other ones in there, because I mean, the F word could be an adjective, a noun, a verb, it could be a lot of things. So as long as you're using it to punctuate, but if you use it for every other word, then obviously you got yourself an issue. You need to work on your vocabulary a little bit. But as far as, if I keep saying I'm gonna hurt myself. Let me catch back up with what I'm talking about. But as far as cursing, because I'm ignorant, no, I'm not an ignorant person. So what I do when I curse is I cause inflection into what I'm speaking about, which I think is important because I'm trying to get a point across. Now, when I'm trying to get this point across, it's my personal belief, and I'm not trying to set a standard, or for myself anyways, or for anybody around me. Now, when I'm on here, I'm trying to set a standard for myself, and a standard and a level of decency that you can expect from here. Plus, they don't like me to curse on here, so I don't. I get told not to, so it's not really like I'm making an effort to not do it. I have to not do it, so that's the way I go. So I figured out what hope meant yesterday as well, because I looked it up because we were talking about hope. And hope is an expectation along with desire to see something happen. See, I think people throw hope around like it's a wish. Like, hope can lead an army, right? But when you think that, you think the wish of having something better or the idea of having something better. But that's not what hope means. Hope means the expectation and desire to see something happen. So you have to have that expectation of yourself and the desire to achieve it. That's why hope is so inspirational, and hope can be so impactful for the people around them, because there's a certain expectation I have for myself. I remember somebody told me a while back, if you want to be happy for the rest of your life, don't expect anything from anybody. Those were F words, obviously. Again, inflection. So that's the case. Don't expect anything from anybody. That's true. You shouldn't expect anything from anybody. People aren't here to make your life better. However, I think if you want to be happy for the rest of your life, set an expectation people can expect from you, an expectation you can expect from yourself. You know what I mean? Something that when they come up to you, they know they can rely on you for this. Are you a motivational kind of person where you inspire people to do better? Are you the kind of guy that can fix things? Are you the kind of woman that's a real empath, you know? What can people expect of you? If you want to be happy for the rest of your life, set expectations of yourself and the desire to achieve them, and that gives you hope. It was just so impactful for me to hear what hope meant, because it's such a dramatic word that I had no idea was so dramatic. There's lots of times we say words every day that hold a lot of weight, but we don't think that they do. Like GD, for instance. I use that curse word a lot. And I used to never use it because I thought to myself, if you say, oh, the GD peanut butter jar won't open, do you really want God to come down from heaven and damn that peanut butter jar for not opening for you? Of course not. So you're kind of using it in vain, right? Which is actually one of the big rules not to do. However, if that's the case and you want to get really specific about it, you can use GD if you literally mean it. Like GD child molesters, you know, I really do hope God comes down from heaven and damns them. You know what I mean? So I'm not using his name in vain because it's a literal statement. I actually wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind. Come on down, God. Damn them. And damn isn't a curse word either. And I use the B word too, which I'm not going to say on here because I don't know how they feel about it. But that's on TV, so if you can say it on TV, I kind of don't consider it a curse word. Well, if you can say it before 10 p.m. Anyways, hope was such a dramatic word for me. The expectation and desire. What do you hope for in life? You know, a better life? A better life? You hope for a better life with your kids? Do you have the expectation to achieve that for them and the desire to want them to have it? It's just, I don't know. Hope was such a strong word to me, and I really appreciate the fact that it exists. Or the fact that I looked up the definition. Because now when I say hope, it takes on a whole new meaning and a whole new desire and expectation of myself. I said this, like I said, the expectation that I won't curse on this show is set, and I have the desire to keep that rule applied. Only because I'll get fired. But it's the truth nevertheless. So when I go into these meetings and I want to curse, I should be able to curse because I'm trying to be open. All right, my hope is to become a more well-rounded person after this class. I just, did the peer support thing, and so I want to better achieve an understanding of the people around me. And if I've used curse words as an inflection, I should be able to do so. Now they told me I can't, so I won't. And they better have a curse jar because I already screwed up a couple times yesterday. But it's opportunity to open up is limited when they tell you who you can be and how you can act. Because it's not really achieving the goal, I don't think, because you're putting people in a box of what they can be. Now, people were cursing and she didn't kick them out of class or anything. It's just like, hey, calm it down. You could pick other words. And you can, but it doesn't have the same inflection, you know? Like, for instance, let's say, dude, I absolutely did not want that sandwich. So I was like, that sandwich. Total different inflection, less words, and got to the point. See what I'm saying? Anyways, I'm not saying kids should go around cussing because you don't have any kind of vocabulary yet. So work on your vocabulary first before you go out there and start cursing. You're not that bright. But for people that do have an extensive vocabulary but want to use curse words as an inflection, I say get to it. And look up the word hope because it's inspirational.
Did you know Valley View Medical Center's mission is making communities healthier? We do that by offering a spectrum of services locally. Procedures for gastroenterology, orthopedic, ear, nose, and throat, pulmonary, women's health, and more are performed at the medical center. Whether inpatient or outpatient, you can confidently stay close to home for your joint replacement, colonoscopy, or ENT procedures. To learn more, go to valleyviewmedicalcenter.net.
All right, this is important for me because of the fact that I have ADHD, which I didn't realize for a long time. And now I've learned how to use it. Like, people told me that I had ADHD because I couldn't really pay attention to what they were talking about. I'd be talking about more than one thing at one time. And I can jump from one subject to the next and one person to the next because everybody entertains me for a short period of time. And that's the whole ray of sunshine thing. I literally consider you a ray of sunshine in my life because you take a moment of my life for me to focus on you, and I appreciate that. But here's this article, ready? And I'll get to where it all works with me. You can read Tolstoy on your phone or call your mother, but you usually don't. You look at stupid stuff, play stupid games, and take pictures of your stupid face. This article is pretty hardcore. When boredom, frustration, or mere solitude settles over you, the urge to look is a constant neural itch. They put that as one word. I don't think that's one word, constant neural itch. Anyways, the neurochemical pleasures of smartphone use, a habit-forming glow of minor rewards, and escapist nonsense are similar to those of slot machines. I do love slot machines. You know what? The bigger and brighter, colorful it is, I will play it, right? So if someone could say, oh, well, this machine makes a lot of money, and it's one of those ones that just spin, you know, I'll be all, oh, yeah, I bet. But how am I supposed to see a cartoon character go bust a balloon with 400 credits underneath it? How am I supposed to see that on a real machine? You know what I mean? Anyways, I'm sure the real machines were like that back in the day when people didn't have TVs in their slot machines. But now we've jumped to another level of what kind of slot machine I expect out of a casino. And it's the colorful ones that do all kinds of crazy stuff. Like the 3D fish one, that one was always cool too. I never see them anymore, to be honest. Imagine being a compulsive gambler with a casino in your pocket. Way to make me feel bad about myself right now. I'm not though. Research suggests that people with ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, may have a higher risk of technological addictions, possibly because they use gadgets to quell their restlessness or because their impulse control is lower. I'm trying to say I have low impulse control. You're right, but I don't need you to say it to everybody. Saying it all out in front of God and everything. Alex something Pang, PhD, author of The Distraction Addiction, recommends a Zen-like regimen of contemplative computing to unplug. Turn off nearly all notifications. Silence ringtones from non-essential callers. Use software that locks out distracting sites or features. And force regular detox periods away from all screens to limit their mind-scattering effects. I don't know, how does that help you at all? He's like, look, just suffer with your ADHD, all right? Figure it out. Now, if you're a gambler and you're gambling on your phone, yeah, you probably should take a break. But if you have ADHD, the way he's all, look, stop using your phone to solve your problem. Take pills. We're doctors. That's how we get paid. I just watched the whole documentary on, I don't know if you've seen The Pharmacist on Netflix, but it's definitely one of those things where pharmaceutical companies aren't out to help you. They're out to make a profit. Let's all face it. Hospitals are the same thing, but you do get help when you need it, which is important. So when you have these personal doctors, like a hospital actually helps you because they have an ER, you know what I mean? And they have doctors in there that's their job to help people with insurance, so everyone's taken care of, and they have to help you. They have to. Where you got private physicians, like this Alex Pang person, who's telling people not to use their phone to help them with their ADHD and to just deal with it, would also probably be the doctor to give you pills like Ritalin or something like that. So I don't trust him. All right, and then actually there was a whole article on who you should trust, and it's like a wolf-like reflex that kicks in way before your stupid brain decides to kick in, right? So that reflex of, I don't like that guy for some reason, is your wolf-like reflex, and then there's your brain. Anyways, I don't know why I got off on that tangent. Here's what I do in order to watch a movie, for instance. I have to have subtitles on. Because I have to have two things for my brain to focus on at the same time where I can go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So if you ever have a problem focusing on movies, try putting subtitles on. Now, that works for me because I can read along. And if it's an English movie, sometimes I can't understand them, you know, because they start talking too fast, which is weird because I never had that problem before. I guess I'm getting older. My ears are like, nah. And I've had headphones on for way too long in my life. But ADHD, whatever way you could focus your attention on something else, just have it in front of you. Because a lady told me that in order for kids with ADHD to take tests, she would put a clock in front of them with a button and tell them every time that clock gets down to 1 second or, you know, a little more, whatever, just make sure it doesn't get down to 0. You push the button while they're taking the test. So they're taking the test and they keep looking at the clock, taking the test, looking at the clock, back and forth, back and forth. when they were doing that, it was giving them two things to focus on, so they were hyper-focusing on both. And that's what ADHD basically creates in someone, is the ability to focus on two things at once and hyper-focus. So they started scoring higher on their tests when they had that stupid clock with the button to push. I'm just throwing that out there for ADHD. This guy sucks. I don't believe in what he said, but I just want to tell you anyways. So men and women who enjoy a healthy sex life literally get a side bonus for the romps between the sheets. Better job satisfaction. Yeah, we make jokes about people having a spring in their step, but it turns out this actually is a real thing. And we should pay attention to it, says Oregon State University researcher Keith Levitt, an expert in organizational behavior and management. He's all, yeah, I tell my wife all the time, if we don't bang, how am I supposed to be good at my job? You want me to lose my job, lady? Get in the bed immediately, first thing in the morning. Let's get this puppy started. But it's true, I guess. Maintaining a healthy relationship that includes a healthy sex life will help employees stay happy and engaged in their work, which benefits the employees and the organizations they work for. It's the ultimate in a strong work-life balance. See, here's the thing. That argument isn't an argument for marriage. It isn't an argument for relationships in general. It's an argument for a regular sex life. So, I'm just throwing this out there. Legalizing prostitution, right? Probably better for mankind. I've saw a lot of studies that says sex literally makes people happier and more fulfilled with their lives. People that aren't having sex and maybe can't find that special someone, very miserable, doing miserable things. If they could find someone that could at least fake attraction towards them or fake that feeling of love, might not be the worst thing in the world. You know, I'm sure they could talk with somebody or whatever, but everyone thinks of prostitution as this disgusting thing that married men go do. Yeah, I get it. Married men probably do that. And they probably will find sex no matter what, because there's always someone willing to have sex with someone for any reason. And if you have money, it's definitely going to happen. I don't care who you are. If you have money, there is someone that will have sex with you. Guy, girl, doesn't matter. So the idea that it's illegal just because married men might do it, or because it's condemned by God, I don't really think it's condemned by God either. But the premise of feeling love or feeling attraction is huge in humankind. I don't care what religion you are, what country you're from, where you were raised, how you were raised. Love and affection is important, so important, it's like, I don't know, it's one of the catalysts that allow you to become better and want to be better. So if you're not feeling that at all, what kind of person are you becoming? A hateful, maybe spiteful person? And it's all because people don't want other people to have control of their bodies. You know? And I think that's rude. Everybody talks about, oh, abortion. Right to life. What is the other one? Right to choice, or pro-life, pro-choice. Well, why is it they never talk about prostitution that way? Why is it not? That's not hurting anybody. Nobody's getting aborted. Nothing bad is happening at that moment in time. You know, really, it's a decision between two people. And if it is a married man or a married woman going for a prostitute, they're already making poor choices. So I'm not gonna tell them it's illegal because they make poor choices. That's their problem. You know? And we have the ability to keep disease from spreading. So the original reason prostitution might have been illegal back in the day, because it spreads disease, is not so much now. So I'm just throwing that out there because obviously you do better at work, probably do better in social situations, probably feel better about yourself. I don't know, there's lots of arguments for it. The reason it's illegal baffles me, but that's between me and myself, I guess. I shouldn't say it out loud in groups. Well, men, forget that old pop song's advice about marrying an ugly woman to be happy for the rest of your life. I can't believe they call that a pop song. I guess it was a popular song, but from a long, long time ago. And if you haven't heard the song, you should listen to it. It's a pretty funny song. If you want to be happy for the rest of your life, marry yourself an ugly wife. I don't think that's how it goes. Never mind. Instead, let whichever lady you hitch up with be the boss in your home, because researchers have determined that is the key to lasting marital bliss. If she's the boss in the home and she makes all the decisions, good for you. However, I don't know how much women really like that. A man stepping back like that and not taking charge of anything. While women do like to be in control, they also, don't bite my head off for this, they also don't want all of the responsibility. Alright, so they want guys to be able to bite the bullet every once in a while, I'm sure. I think it's more of a give and take situation, but whatever. It's like whenever you ask your wife when So what do you think? Do you think we need a new car? Well, I mean, I guess we do, but what do you think? Well, I just said, do you think we need a new car? So obviously, I have my attention on something, and that's a new car. And she's like, well, I guess, can we afford it? And you're like, I'm asking you, lady. I'm asking you. Obviously, I think we can. Holy Moses, you know what I mean? So, I think it's that pass off of responsibility. Actually, now that we brought this up, I'm gonna go ahead and go all the way with it. I heard about people being, what is that? What can I think today, ladies and gentlemen? I feel like an idiot. You know, like a dominatrix is dominant and not dominant. What is that called? Well, I feel like an idiot. Submissive. All right, so you have the submissive person, you have the dominant person, right? And I was talking to a friend of mine who both of them, it was a gay dude, and his boyfriend, they both want to be the submissives. I was like, did you ever think about it that the reason he wants to be the submissive is because he doesn't want to hold any relationship or any responsibility in your relationship? You have to make all the decisions, so if you don't show up, it's your fault. If you can't figure out something for them to do, it's your fault. If you're not watching out what he's doing, it's your fault. So then if someone's a complete submissive, that means you have full responsibility for them and your relationship if you're supposed to be the dominant. I don't know if that's a good idea. But obviously some people like to be the submissive because they don't want to hold that responsibility. Maybe I'm reading it wrong because I've never actually met a girl that likes to be the absolute submissive. And I'm not in gay dude, so I never met this guy or had that situation. Well, I'm not in a dude's period, I guess I should specify. But yeah, so that's the whole idea of responsibility. And I think sometimes responsibility has to be absolutely shared. Now when it comes to the boss of who does what, chores, and where the kids are going and where we have to go as part of like their education, like if we have to go to their plays or we're part of student council or whatever the case may be, maybe yeah, our day-to-day stuff, but the big decisions you better do together, otherwise someone's gonna get all the responsibility.